Hello and welcome to Warcraft Daily for today, the 20th of January 2013. So basically, this show's going to be a little bit shorter because of a few different reasons that I'm going to cover, I'm going to talk about later on. But anyway, for today's video, we've got some random Battleground win rates, which are definitely interesting and may piss off one or two Alliance people. Then we have the Lunar Festival, followed up by some tweets. Yeah, not really a great deal. But anyway, first and probably most interestingly, we have these Battleground win rates. And honestly, it's probably exactly what you expect. So, let's just go through the lot of them. In Alterac Valley, the win rate for Alliance is 78%, Horde is only 21%. Ouch. For AB, it's 40% win rate to the Alliance, 60% to Horde. For Warsong Gulch, 47.4% Alliance, 52.6% Horde. For Eye of the Storm, it's 44% Alliance and 56% Horde. For Strand of the Ancients, 32% Alliance, 68% Horde. That's, ouch. It's a hard one to be Alliance in. By the way, I may round these off just slightly to make it all a bit easier to say. Anyway, in Isle of Conquest, Alliance is 85%, Horde's 15%. Well, I mean, do I even need to say both? I probably should. Anyway, for Twin Peaks, Alliance is 42.7, Horde is 57.3. For the Battle of Gilneas, Alliance is 42.1 and Horde is 57.9. For the Temple of Kotmugu, Alliance is 41.9 and Horde is 58.1. For the Silver Shard Mines, Alliance is a measly 35.5 and Horde 64.5. And then finally for Deepwind Gorge, Alliance is 42.1 and Horde is 57.9. So what does this mean overall? Well, overall, it means the Horde absolutely kicks our arse in nearly everything, apart from AV and Isle of Conquest, which pretty much happen to be the two most zergy bullshit skillless battlegrounds. What we can take from this is that essentially, at least, maybe not the Horde players, but I kind of like the Horde metagame when it comes to battlegrounds is far more accessible from than the Alliance. I think, really, a lot of the circumstantial evidence, is circumstantial the word? I don't think so, whatever, that Alliance players see when they go into a battleground. They notice, oh, everyone's zerging around the place, not fighting at bases, and, you know, in AB, just as an example, when half your team is fighting at stables, those things probably just happen less with Horde, and maybe it's probably not because there's just one guy in the Horde team that's always there coordinating everything. It's just a metagame kind of reason, in that Horde players tend to gravitate to do certain things, whereas Alliance players don't. But it really is interesting, and a lot of people are probably going to say, well, it's clearly just map balance, you know, there's some maps that favour the Horde, some that favour Alliance. Well, we actually had a tweet from Helinka about these stats, and what Helinka said is that basically when they look at rated Battleground testing, they find that there's essentially no map imbalance. And of course, in a rated Battleground, you're going to have two skilled teams, so it's just going to come down to the skill of the team. Which means that, of course, if win rates are kind of roughly equal, then there's probably not really much of a map balance issue that's there. Now, interestingly enough, MMO Champion did link to some previous win rates and things like that. This is for last year, and basically, overall, in these, I think back in, yes, it was in 2010, I believe, the Alliance overall win rate was 43, and the Horde one was, of course, 55. Hang on a second, that doesn't make any sense. Alliance was 45 and Horde was 55. Only a 10% difference, which is interesting. Then in 2011, it was 47, kind of like 47.5 to the Alliance, and about 51 point something for the Horde, or 53, whatever. Basically, it seems like this problem is nearly, I know, it feels more exacerbated. Some of these new maps, like the Battle for Gilneas, Temple of Kotmugu, Silver Shard Mines, Deepwind, they all are more tactically involved. And Alliance definitely seems to fall apart when you get into the tactically involved ones. So anyway, I thought that was interesting, and please feel free to rage about your own faction in the comments. Anyway, so next up, the Lunar Festival is happening. The Lunar Festival is, I think is it Chinese New Year? I think that's what they kind of coincide with. Whatever. It's kind of cool. You go to the Elders, you collect things. I'm not going to be able to do a guide in this because of things, which I'll talk about soon. So, yeah, go to your city, get out the portal, go to Moonglade, kill the boss, do a few other things. And, yeah, I don't have time to make a guide, unfortunately. Anyway, so finally for today's news, sorry, I know it's really short, But first of all, we have one from Duncan Jones. He is the director of the Warcraft movie, and he says that they are starting to shoot tomorrow on his Twitter, so woohoo! I can't wait for this movie. I think it could be really good, and Duncan Jones is just such a good director. He's so smart and so brainy, and his characters are all really well developed, and the cinematography and everything he's made has been fantastic, so yes, Duncan Jones. Brilliant. Anyway, so there's that. Celestian then said that the Warlock Greenfire quest will not scale up. And he also said, that scale up to level 100 by the way, he also said that he sees the value in a healing dummy and he'd like to see what he can do, but there's no promises. I think that's cool. A bit of a misconception with healers though is that it's all about your throughput. And that's something that has led to a lot of unwarranted rage at people like Ghostcrawler and Celestian. Really, healers also feel kind of slightly different roles where you have like druids doing their hots and kind of topping people off, that kind of thing. Disciplined priests with their absorbs. They're all kind of different in how they heal, so I think while healing dummy just to get raw throughput on is really, like, it's handy for healers, I don't think it's really the be-all and end-all, and I can imagine it bringing some really annoying, just kind of bullshit arguments to the blues. But anyway, there's that. And then finally, from Watcher, who is, Zacostas, the lead encounter guy, he said that in general, the Templayer nerfs in Siege of Orgrimmar that we talked about in the previous show are going to be in and around 10%. So that's things like Health of the Corcoran ads on Galacras. Do watch the yesterday's show. It's basically some targeted nerfs. I think it's for Galacras, Black Fuse, Paragons, and Thok. And some of those are on 10-player, just to deal with the fact that 10-player raids don't have as much class diversity, and they will not have, or at least they cannot guarantee, having one of every single cooldown. Anyway, that's it for today's show. Hope you enjoyed it and all that good stuff. Sorry it's not very long, but hey, it's not like there's any real news on Monday anyway. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.